Hey, welcome to BJJ Mental Models, episode 225. I'm Steve Kwan. BJJ Mental Models is your guide to a conceptual and intelligent jiu-jitsu approach. And today, happy to be joined again by friend of the show, Rob Biernacki. How's it going, Rob?
It's going pretty good. I'm excited.
I'm excited too, man. So this is a bit of a special episode. I hear you have a new project that you think would be helpful for the BJJ community.
Absolutely, Steve. Yeah, I am finally ready to reveal the true secrets of my financial success. You know, people in our community, they see me living in a big house with an ocean view, driving fancy sports cars, and eating the best gelato. They think it's my online BJJ projects that facilitate this lifestyle.
It isn't?
No, actually, I have another project that I've been secretly developing for years. It's had some incredible success stories, so I'm going to share it with the public. I don't think anyone would disagree that men in our society are undergoing a crisis. Many are lost, rudderless, and desperately in need of positive role models.
Hold on, I thought your new instructional was about leg locks.
No, that's a different instructional. We can talk about that another time. Today, I'm here to announce a new program intended for young, impressionable men, especially those within the martial arts community.
And you've got a program to help them?
No. I want to show you how to make a fuck ton of money by duping them. Allow me to introduce Grifters University, my new online instructional program.
I see.
Well, if you've ever wondered if you, too, could make a massive amount of money by lying to insecure men, I'm here to tell you that yes, you can. And because the BJJ world is so rife with gullible dudes, I figure your audience can make a killing. All they have to do is subscribe to my course.
Hold on a second, Rob. I can't in good conscience record an episode like this, man.
Why not?
Well, for starters, I don't want to be publishing false information that could lead people to make poor decisions that could come back to harm them.
Wait a second. Didn't you do a whole episode with Sonny Brown about the law of attraction?
Yeah, good point.
I know.
Yeah, okay, fine. All right, tell me more. I'm sure the audience is eager to hear the details.
Absolutely. I'm sure you've heard of influencers like Andrew Tate, Russell Brand, Tim Pool, etc. Well, they all use simple methods that I've broken down, analyzed, and I'm happy to teach. For a small fee, of course.
Isn't Andrew Tate the pizza box guy that got owned by a teenager on Twitter?
Yeah, the multi-millionaire pizza box guy that got owned by a teenager on Twitter. That's what I'm here to teach, how to become a multi-millionaire male lifestyle influencer.
Are we sure he's actually a multi-millionaire?
It doesn't matter. This isn't about him. It's about your listeners, Steve, and their path to quick and easy wealth.
So you're basically selling a get-rich-quick course to alpha bros?
No. That's the genius part. I'm selling a get-rich-quick course that regular people can use to scam alpha bros.
So you're not selling one of those how to be a modern alpha male online courses?
That's right. I'm not. Rather, I'm teaching you how to create your own how to be a modern alpha male online course and fleece thousands of gullible fools into paying for it.
I'm not sure that's much better.
Well, Steve, that's a self-limiting mentality you have on display there. And that's okay, because you just haven't embraced the alpha grind set yet. Don't worry, you'll get there. It just takes time. That's why courses like this one are so important.
How on earth is this better than just scamming the alpha bros directly?
Look, Steve, the world is full of grifters who are looking to exploit the vulnerable. Andrew Tate, Jordan Peterson, and others like them are making millions, if not billions, off of these people. And they're going to keep doing it. The only way to stop them is for us to do it first, so there's no money left over for them to take.
Well, I guess that's an interesting perspective.
You could even say it's our moral duty to do this.
I guess. Okay, tell me about this program. How does it work?
All right, so the methods involve a few basic concepts, usually broken down into 3 steps. You know how I like to break things down into 3 steps like base, posture, structure, or frames, levers, and wedges. Well, here's some of the concepts you will learn at Grifters University. First of all, we have the DIC concept. DIC stands for Discovery, Ingratiation, and Credulity. I will show you where to discover a vast audience of uneducated rubes just waiting for someone to give them a sense of direction and purpose. Then I will show you how to ingratiate yourself to that audience. Then I will teach you how to establish the level of credulity within that audience. You see, it's not hard to find morons in our society. And it's not hard to lie to them in a way that makes them believe, like, or even follow you. The hard part is figuring out which ones will simply follow, spread your message, that sort of thing, and which ones are daft enough to actually give you money.
Now, just to confirm, I assume Grifters University is not actually a licensed and accredited university, correct?
No, of course not. If it were, there would have to be oversight, codes of conduct, those kinds of things get in the way of monetization.
Interesting. Now, this might be highly proprietary information, but do you think you could share a bit of how you might do this?
Well, I can't get too detailed, but it has to do with the anxiety felt by certain kinds of men and understanding the phenomenon of cognitive dissonance.
What do you mean by certain kinds of men?
Well, the easiest way to describe the people we're targeting is to call them dumb, but that sort of oversimplification isn't really going to help.
Why not?
Well, there are a metric fuck ton of dumb people on the planet, but the majority of them don't fall for obviously idiotic reactionary nonsense. So you have to understand, it isn't a lack of intelligence that is the defining feature we're after.
Is it anger? I have a feeling it's anger.
Oh, it's anger, all right. Though more specifically, resentment and frustration fueled anger. When people are just dumb and get bad information, you can actually replace it with good information because they aren't emotionally invested. When they're mad and they get fed some hellacious bullshit that gives that anger a target, then the emotional investment is too high for them to change their mind. That's when the cognitive dissonance kicks in. And if you can time that moment, you can get them to double down and often give you money.
Huh. So where does this anger come from?
Oh man, well, all over the place. And some of it is actually quite legitimate anger at exploitation or neglect on the part of various systems in our society.
But let me guess, pointing that out doesn't get you any of that sweet, sweet money, does it?
Hells no, it doesn't. You start down that path and all you're doing is trying to have a net positive impact on the majority of people's lives. It might even mean changing significant things about how our society operates. Now, the way you get that bag is to give angry guys a scapegoat and promise to turn back the clock to when men were real men.
Oh, and when was that?
Well, that depends on who your target audience is. The goal is to convince gullible men that society has taken away their manliness, and that by paying us, we can help them get it back. It's all about preying on deep-seated insecurities and biases. A big part of my course is actually figuring out which bygone era of glory you want to hearken back to. It might be the 80s, it might be before the civil rights movement, it might be before suffrage, although you'll probably have to use the term women voting because these people won't even know what suffrage was. For the real dolts, you have to go back to eating raw meat. The only downside of that one is you have to turn yourself purple with the amount of steroids you ingest to convince people you got swole eating bull testicles, so it may not be worth it. Anyway, it's all about knowing your target audience.
Hold on. Are you suggesting that we should go back in time before civil rights and modern medicine?
No. You're not understanding me, Steve. Only an idiot would think that. And that's what makes these alpha bros our ideal patsies. They are such idiots.
I guess. Okay, so you mentioned that there are legitimate reasons people might be angry and that redirecting the frustration over these grievances is one way to fleece them, but is that all there is to it?
I mean, it can be if all you want to do is point out actual problems in society that are plaguing men and then claim the solution is to be angry at immigrants or women or Hollywood. You can easily get funded by billionaires and they'll pay you to gather support for things like making child labor legal by calling it economic freedom. That's an obvious grift that basically every other political commentator on YouTube is pulling. It's very lucrative. But if you really want to go to the next level, you have to target an audience that isn't just angry and frustrated at real problems. You have to get at the ones that have a seething hatred of modern society for less noble concerns.
Really? I didn't know there was such a group. I would have thought that people understood that life has generally been better as societies progress.
Oh, most people do, because most people are reaping the benefits of more technology, equality, and opportunity. But one group is actually getting left behind because the world doesn't need them the way it used to. If you get your fingers into their wallets, you got it made.
Can you share who this group is, or is that proprietary?
I can't believe I'm going to do this, Steve. But just for your listeners, here's a taste. So throughout history, societies have had tremendous utility for, let's say, mediocre or below average men. life wasn't always as comfortable as it is today, and even dumb dudes could get by because an extra set of hands was always useful. And because survival was a daily battle, people would have to make compromises in their choices of mate, which gave these mediocre men a shot at love. You could go to war or work the land, and that was all it took. Sure, you had to do backbreaking work or eat a spear to the gullet in exchange, but at least you had a shot. Gradually, however, more and more societies got more and more equal. And eventually, we reached a point where women were empowered to provide for themselves, at least again, in most societies. As a result, if you're a man with poor social skills, an uninteresting personality, or you just don't really like women very much and are only interested in them for sex, well, then your chances at succeeding in romance, they're actually pretty low. So you can either develop qualities that would actually make you appealing, or you can lament how much better things used to be when, say it with me now.
When men were men?
Bingo!
So what did the actual contents of this course look like?
Well, I don't want to share too many details for free because obviously this is paid premium content. That said, I'll give you a sampler. We talk a lot about how to appear like an alpha male so you can impress the patsies. We have an entire module on buying Instagram followers, how to get pictures of yourself next to expensive cars, and where to borrow a designer suit. It's important that your potential customers see you as the pinnacle of manliness, or the grift doesn't work.
Look, Rob, I mean no offense by this, but you're the least manly guy I know. I mean, other than your jiu-jitsu gear, I've never seen you wear anything but $10 sweatpants. Who's going to believe that you're some sort of jacked alpha dude who buys yachts and forages for raw meat in the forest?
Well, that's actually a great question, and it's the main reason I waited so long to make this course. Here's the beauty of the grift. It doesn't matter if you're actually that manly. The big surprise to me was realizing that these rubes look at people like Andrew Tate as alpha males. The guy lost a Twitter argument to a teenager. These dudes really are that gullible. And that's what allows normal people like you and me to build credibility as manliness experts.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying, Rob, but I really don't think it's a good idea to teach people how to be fake gurus. There's already too much of that going around.
How is that any different than a hobbyist making a jiu-jitsu podcast?
Yeah, fair point. Any tips for aspiring grifters on how to identify their best potential customers?
Well, the easiest test is to throw out the quote, "Strong men create good times create weak men create hard times," and see how uncritically someone accepts it. It literally takes 10 seconds on Google to discover that it's a bullshit phrase from a novel that has no historical or factual validity. But if you get some sap nodding along to how true it is, you know there's a longing there. And the longing may exist for a variety of reasons, but when it's accompanied by an infantile power fantasy that someone would be one of these strong men leading the way, when their mind isn't even powerful enough to do a quick fact check, well, then you know you've got a sucker. And when we identify someone like that, then, oh man, there isn't much you can't sell them.
Look, I'm still not really comfortable with the ethics surrounding all of this.
Again, Steve, it is our moral duty to do this. If we don't grift these idiots, all their money is going to go to people like Andrew Tate and Alex Jones. Do you really want to let those lowlifes succeed?
I guess that's one way of looking at it.
It sure is.
So if some unethical person listens to this and wants to check out your course, how do they sign up?
Well, the first thing you should do is attend one of our mastermind seminars. That's the key to getting started. There are large group awareness training sessions that will unlock your unrealized potential. From there, you'll get the base knowledge required to attend our more advanced, and of course more expensive, second level mastermind seminar. After you've completed the entire curriculum and convinced 3 of your friends into enrolling, you'll become a fully unlicensed graduate of Grifters University and will be entitled to a once per year retreat with me in the remote woods of Vancouver Island in British Columbia.
So, in other words, you're going to let them crash on the couch in your basement?
Damn right.
All right. Well, if people want to contact you, how can they do that?
Well, just send me a message on Instagram. I mean, you should be following me anyway. if you want to get an idea of what your life could look like as an alpha male influencer. Let me show you what your dream life could look like. Let me help you get rich off any type of grift you can envision. NFT? You bet. Pyramid scheme? Go for it. Hell, you could even add the word university to the bullshit you're slanging, and people will buy it.
Dude, you can't just add university to the end of something and expect people to believe it's an actual university.
Actually, there is ample evidence to suggest that people will indeed believe such a thing.
All right. Well, thanks again, Rob, for coming by. I hope this was useful to the listeners, as always. Great chat, Rob, I suppose. And of course, if anyone's interested, just give Rob a shout. I'm sure he'll teach you everything you need to know about being manly. Thanks again, and we'll talk to you next week. Take care, everybody.